Okay, we're back. This is part 3. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to put the instruments of the drum set on the proper place on the staff with the proper note head. Okay, later we'll fix the stem directions and we'll talk about that in greater detail in another video. So if you highlight the first thing, which is the crash symbol, and you look over on the right-hand side, you'll see that there's a box, and this shows uh, where this instrument would be notated on the staff and what the note head would be. Now, the reason why there are other note heads is because these represent, half note, dotted half note, whole note. We're not concerned about this. Most of our durations of our notation will be quarter notes. So this represents a quarter note or a solid note head type of duration. Now, Berklee doesn't use this as the crash symbol, and but because it's located so conveniently here and it's different from what the ride symbol looks like, this is what I've been using. So I'm going to give you permission to use this. Okay, so in other words, the crash symbol is fine, don't touch it. In fact, some of the other instruments don't have to be touched either. If you look at hi-hat with foot, it's notated on the D space. If we're thinking treble clef below the staff, that doesn't have to be moved. The snare drum is also written correctly. That doesn't have to be changed. And the kick drum doesn't have to be changed. So there are 4 instruments that we don't have to manipulate at all, and we can just go past those when we get to those particular instruments. But everything else will have to be moved. Now, the first thing that will have to be manipulated is the second crash symbol. Now, this is something personal, so just keep that in mind. I use this crash symbol for my kicks over time. Again, we'll talk about this in greater detail during class, and this information is also in the book. So what I'm going to do is, you'll notice how it's written here kind of on the B space and treble clef. So what I want to do is I want to put this note head on the G space. And the way that I do that is I take my cursor and I click and hold on this box, and then I just move the cursor down. Oops, didn't mean to do that. You can see I can move it through over the whole staff, but I'm going to put it on the G space, which is where I want it. Okay? So by clicking and holding on that box, you can move it anywhere you want on the staff. Okay? Oops. It's a little tricky there, I guess. Okay, oops. Okay, great. Now, down below you'll see it says closed note head, and right now it says this closed note head has been selected as an X. Well, I don't want it to be an X, I want it to be a solid note head. So what I'm going to do is click on select, and then in this menu here I'm going to look through and I'm going to find a solid note head, which is right here, number 53. So I click on number 53 and I press select, and now you'll see that this is a solid note head. Okay, great. That will end this video, and we'll remap the rest of the other instruments on the next video.